Welcome everyone to the City of Richmond's meeting about the resort casino. This meeting is being recorded. Uh, Everyone is on mute. Please do not speak unless you have been invited to speak. Please do not share your screen. Share your video unless you are a presenter. Take it away, Leonard.
Thank you, Maritza. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's presentation from the Cordish Companies with their live casino and hotel proposal for the City of Richmond. My name is Leonard Sledge, and it is my privilege to serve as the Director of Economic Development for the City of Richmond. We're really pleased to have with us on the call tonight, again, Maritza Peachin, who is the Deputy Director in Planning and Development Review, and also she is the Director of the Office of Equitable Development. We also have Sharon Ebert, who serves as the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Planning and Economic Development for the City of Richmond. We have Bob Steidel, who serves as Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Operations for the city. Devin Wood, who is the Marketing Manager in the Department of Economic Development. Matthew Welch, who's Senior Policy Advisor in the Department of Economic Development. We also have Suzanne Leckert, who is one half of the team that makes up the Convergent Strategy Group, who was hired by the Economic Development Authority on behalf of the City of Richmond to assist us in our evaluation of the resort casino proposals and our negotiations with the offerers. We're also pleased to have with us representatives from the Cordish Companies this evening, Joe Weinberg, Rob Norton, and also Zed Smith. We're going to share a little bit of information with regard to the resort casino RFP timeline, and then we're going to turn it over to the Cordish team. Maritza, next slide, please. And so in terms of our agenda, again, an overview and timeline by the city. We're going to allow 15 to 20 minutes for the Cordish companies to give their presentation, and then we're going to open it up for Q&A. In terms of the guidelines for this evening, during the Q&A portion, as Maritza mentioned, we will open the chat. Please type only questions in the chat, and in the time that we have allotted this evening, we will get to as many questions as we can. You can also raise your hand. That's one of the features, excuse me, in Microsoft Teams. There's a hand icon at the top of the screen where you can raise your hand and a moderator will call on you. And that moderator is Maritza, and then you can ask your question. I would like to also add that we understand that there are a lot of strong feelings, positively and negatively, about the resort casino opportunity in the city of Richmond. A lot of feelings about the what, where, why, who, locations, and things of that nature. I want to assure everyone this evening that we are absolutely going to have a civil discourse and a civil conversation. Anything other than that, I will respectfully remove you from the meeting this evening. We're really thankful for the Cordish companies and all companies, all proposers who put in time and effort to respond to the city's request for proposals. And so with that, Maritza, I'd like to turn it back over to you. Thank you.
Hi, we wanted to give a little bit of an overview on how we got to where we are. So in 2019, the General Assembly adopted legislation permitting 5 localities in the Commonwealth to have resort casinos within their jurisdictions. But they said it wouldn't take effect for another year, and they asked JLARC, which is a judicial review body within the Commonwealth, to complete a study on it. JLARC completed that in November of 2019. In January and February of 2020, Richmond City Council, over the course of about 4 meetings, informal and special meetings that were public, talked about the resort casino opportunity. And during a February 3rd meeting of council, they came to a general consensus that they would like the opportunity to explore bringing casino gaming establishment to Richmond, provided that the city would have local control over selecting the casino operator and site via a competitive process. So that kind of led to why the city ended up issuing an RFQ, RFP proposal. In April 2020, the governor signed updated casino legislation, which allowed Richmond to have the competitive process and required all municipalities to pose a question during referendum about whether or not the citizens wanted a casino within their boundaries. Then in November of last year, all 4 other Virginia localities approved resort casinos. So that's Bristol, Norfolk, Danville, and Portsmouth. About 65 to 71% of voters in each city said yes. In December 2020, the city issued a survey asking Richmonders to respond on what they would like to see in a resort casino RFP. And then in January 2021, the Richmond EDA hired a consultant. Suzanne Leckert is representing that consulting firm to help the city evaluate the resort casino proposals. In February, the city received 6 resort casino proposals, and now the city is reviewing the resort casino proposals. That's where we are right now. We're in the middle of that process with an announcement from the city coming in May of the preferred operator and site for the resort casino. Then after that, in order for the referendum to be included on the ballot, City Council must select the operator and site. So the evaluation panel is recommending to City Council. City Council then must formally say, okay, we will put this operator and site on the ballot. We're going to request it to be on the ballot. Then the Virginia Lottery, that has to be submitted to the Virginia Lottery, and then the Circuit Court will approve the request of putting it on the referendum. That's kind of like a procedural step. Then in November 2nd, 2021, Richmonders, every single voting person within the city of Richmond, not Henrico, not Chesterfield, you have to live within the jurisdiction of the city of Richmond, will vote on their ballot, and they will be posed this exact question below. Shall casino gaming be permitted at a casino gaming establishment in the city of Richmond, Virginia, and the location, as may it be approved by the Virginia Lottery Board? That is the specific question that the city is required to ask per General Assembly legislation. So those are the next steps on the process of what happens after the evaluation panel recommends a site and operator to City Council. All of this, a lot of this information, the process, the next steps, the email address and everything is on this website. This is the website where you should be providing your comments and your feedback. And yes, go ahead, Leonard.
Oh, no, go ahead, Maritza, go ahead.
I think I'm all done.
Yeah, and so again, this week, last week, we posted videos for each of the 3 proposers that are still, whose projects are still being considered. This week, tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday night, each of them individually will again have 15 to 20 minutes to present their projects, and then Q&A with the community. So that you have a chance to ask questions directly of them and for them to answer those questions directly themselves. As Maritza mentioned, on the city's economic development website, there is a resort casino webpage where you can go on and leave specific feedback, comments, questions that you have using the online tool Conveyo. We are very mindful that we are still in this COVID-19 pandemic, and we want to ensure the health and safety of all Richmonders, of everyone, to the fullest extent that we can. That's why we are not having live in-person meetings. And so we are really thankful and appreciative of your time tonight. And again, really appreciative of the Cordish Company being with us tonight. Tomorrow night, 1 resort, one casino and resort, and then on Thursday night, Bally Casino, again, just to share their projects with the city of Richmond. And so with that, Maritza, if you do not have anything else, I'd like to turn it over to the Cordish team to present their proposed project, Live Richmond Casino and Hotel.
Go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. My name is Zed Smith. I'm a partner and chief operating officer with the Cordish Companies. Also with me tonight is Joe Weinberg, who's our chief executive in our gaming division, as well as Rob Norton, who's assisting tonight, but Rob is also the president of our gaming division. Leonard, I want to thank you and your team for putting this forum together. I'd like to say hello and thank you to the evaluation committee members as well as the citizens of Richmond. We sincerely appreciate this opportunity this evening. We believe that our vision for a world-class gaming resort in Richmond is one that's unmatched. We've been developing large-scale developments across the country, and we believe that this opportunity is the best opportunity for creating jobs, tax revenue, and contributing to the essential services of the community of Richmond. Just to give you a little background on our company, we're based in Baltimore, Maryland. I've been with the company for over 20 years. I'm one of the youngsters in the company. We've been at this for 110 years, which I think is very relevant in this situation. At our core, we are urbanists and community builders. That's something that we take a great deal of pride in. And when we were faced with looking at an opportunity in Richmond, we really wanted to identify a location that aligned with our sensibilities as developers, as urbanists, a location that we thought would bring real value to the city of Richmond, that will offer an opportunity for spin-off benefits. When we looked at the movie land site, we studied the development plans for that area. We just thought that this site was the best site for development in Richmond. If you look at our history, we have developed some of the most transformative projects in the country, whether it's in Kansas City, St. Louis, Louisville, Houston, Texas, and in our hometown of Baltimore. So what we've done in all of these cities has been the change makers. We've driven these opportunities to create change in these cities, and I think we can do the same thing in Richmond. To that end, we're one of the only companies, the only company in the country to have been awarded 7 Urban Land Institute Awards for Excellence. And those are given to developments that have transformed cities. And I think that's what the citizens of Richmond want. When you look at the corridor, what's planned for under the Richmond 300 plan, I think our experience speaks volumes, and we think that our project aligns very well with that plan. Another positive for us is that we are multifaceted. We are not just gaming developers. As you can see from the slide, we have experience in various disciplines in real estate, whether it's entertainment districts, hotels, sports anchored developments, residential. All of these development opportunities that we've been experienced in gaining over many, many years have given us a sensibility about how we approach every development. And it informs us as we design projects, as we engage with communities. All these things are important in terms of how we approach our project developments. And lastly, we design our projects for the long term. So we're not cutting corners. We spend a tremendous amount of effort in designing, operating well, and building into those components in our developments that really bring lasting value to our developments. Some of you might be familiar with our Live brand in other cities. Over the last 2 decades, we've developed some of the most successful gaming resort entertainment districts in the country. Most notably, right up the road from you is Maryland Live. Also in the Florida area, the Hard Rock Casino and Hotel in Hollywood, as well as in Tampa, Florida. All of our casinos, the one that I've just named in particular, are among some of the top grossing casinos in the country and have been consistently recognized as industry and consumer top entertainment resorts in their region. So again, it does speak volumes for our success and our experience in developing high quality entertainment gaming destinations. A big component of the Live brand, and it's a big brand. We welcome over 55 million visitors a year. And as a result of that, we've gained a tremendous reputation in booking live entertainment. And I think the fact that we have casino developments in Philadelphia, in Pittsburgh, in Maryland, and hopefully in Richmond, we'll be able to attract some of the most highly recognized acts in the country. For example, in Maryland, we were able to book one of our first acts was Jill Scott. And with that kind of buying power that we have over many destinations, we'll be able to attract live performances to Richmond that may not necessarily have been attracted to come to Richmond. So we think we'll be able to do that and bring some really important acts to Richmond. Again, these are some of the renderings that we have of our casino destinations in Florida. Again, very highly visited, and they are world-class destinations in their own right. In Philadelphia, we recently opened our live destination in Philadelphia. You can see this rendering. This is in the heart of the sports and entertainment district in Philadelphia. We also opened a unit in Pittsburgh, which is also highly recognized within that market. Next, we have just an interior shot of one of our projects. Again, just the upscale design of our projects, I think, are far superior than most casinos. Again, we take a great deal of time and energy in designing our projects to an upscale design. Again, we also offer very unique dining opportunities in sports entertainment. This is one of the interior of one of our venues. This is Pittsburgh Live Casino. Sports is what we do. Entertainment is what we do. So this offers a little bit of everything. We're very proud of the impact that we have on communities. And this is something that I've been very focused on in my tenure with the company. We value businesses in close proximity to us. We work with local community groups. Just alone in Richmond, we've met with over 40 different organizations, just trying to understand how we can be supportive and give back to the community. It's in our DNA in terms of giving back. We think it's very important that we as a company, as well as our team members, share in our passion and our vision for giving back to communities. I want to share with you very quickly just a brief video of some of our community partners.
They've done everything from day one what they said they would do.
When they say it's going to get done, they get it done. When they say how it's going to get done, they get it done that way.
Without the support of a corporation like Maryland Live, we would not be able to do the programs that we deliver 365 days a year.
They don't just want to give money. It's more of they want to become actively involved.
The thing about this casino is they made a commitment that they were going to reinvest in the community, and they have stood by their word.
Live Casino is emblematic of letting their actions and their involvement in the community speak for their character.
I could literally pick up my phone and call David Cordish and say, hey, I got an issue. And he'd say, hey, let's meet, let's solve it.
We're proud to say that with the help of great partners like Cordish Company, that we've never had to deny the request of a critically ill child.
From day one, they expressed an interest to help, asked how they could help, and they were an excellent community partner.
When the property here was built, they didn't just come onto the scene and make a splash and disappear. They've been just such a valued team member within the community.
It is incredible to have our brand new neighbors at Live Casino here volunteering and donating money, particularly at this time of need.
Live Casino stepped up, put their money where their mouth is, and really made a real big impact right off the bat, showing the people and the surrounding neighborhoods how much they care and how much they want to partner, not only with the city of Philadelphia, but the surrounding community. So this is a big deal for us.
Next, I'd like to share with you our vision for the workplace. We believe that the Live is the best place to work. We devote so much time and energy and resources in shaping a culture that our team members can thrive in. I personally have just worked with our team members time and time again, allowing them to express, their importance and their value to us as a company. And we share with them that same passion. We're in the entertainment business, and we want to create an environment that people want to work in and to share their experiences and convey that energy and excitement to our guests. That's very, very important to how we operate. We believe that our environment's a family environment. We've been working across our portfolio, just generating that energy and excitement, allowing our corporate team and as well as our team members to really understand how we value them. That's just so important for us as an organization. From a salary standpoint, we competitively pay our people. The average salary package for our team members is $60,000. In Richmond, our team members will be starting at $15 an hour, and that is roughly 65% over the region's minimum wage. The next slide is just a really a simple breakdown of some of the benefits that we have for our team members. One thing that I'm very proud of is the fact that we offer a tuition reimbursement to encourage our team members to continue to improve their skills and also their earning potential. What we've also done is created very clear pathways for our team members to see where they can go, where they can grow. We have a mentoring program that we've just instituted, where if someone is working in food and beverage or in hotel services or working table games, they can see a path where they can learn more, gain the experience, and have a clear pathway forward. I think that's something that we've really focused on over the last 4 or 5 years, and it is really yielding tremendous benefits for our organization. In Richmond, we've been extremely busy. Again, working with our team members, we've been trying to ensure that we have a very diverse workforce. We historically have aligned our workforce with the demographics of the community. So we envision a very, very diverse workforce in the city of Richmond. We've been working very hard in Richmond, particularly on in the area of workforce development. This is something that I've been really pushing our team towards across many sectors. We've met with a number of community groups. These are just a few. And our goal is to ensure that we work with these groups as partners and first source hiring. And what that means is that we will target our hiring efforts in these communities. We'll be developing a gaming school along with our partners. We'll be doing workshops directly in these communities. We'll be working with to ensure that we have a plan to hire ex-offenders. All of these things are very important to us as a company, but also to the community. I've had at least 2 meetings with these groups, and I'm very proud to say that they are very excited about the opportunities that we've been discussing over the last month or so. These are some of the partners that we've been working with around workforce development. Reynolds Community College, the Workforce Alliance, John Tyler College, and of course VUU. In the role of with VUU, we've talked about apprenticeship programs, scholarship programs. We have a wide range of opportunities for students in hospitality, accounting, management, all of which VUU has a strong reputation of producing fine students in those areas. The Hispanic Foundation was very intriguing for us as well. They have a program that they're working with middle school students. The program is designed to ensure and encourage young people to stay in school. And that was a program that we felt really, really good about. And that's something that we felt that we could get behind. So we would certainly support that effort in a broader level, and because it does create a win-win situation for us, the city, and the community at large. When you look at our development, we've really tried to center on workforce development. The shaded area in the red happens to be the area that has the highest concentration of unemployment. As you can see, it's in close proximity to our live location. We think, and we certainly feel that we have a commitment to really target this area to ensure that we can get people employed living in these areas. Also, we looked at transportation. How does our development get folks to the workplace? I know in Maryland, we took a huge step in providing bus transportation, a shuttle service for our team members that could not get to work comfortably because we're a 24-hour operation. So when we looked at the site at Arthur Ashe Boulevard, we really wanted to study and understand how our team members would get to work. So this is just an illustration of that, and we think we have a good plan in place to allow our team members to get to work. The next video will be from our team members.
Coming into Cordish and walking through the door, you see a lot of friendly faces, and everyone is respectful, happy, and they're welcoming.
When Live Casino and Hotel says that it is a family, it is actually a family. We all work together, respect each other, and we value everything that we work for.
I have heard of several employees that have been here for over a decade that have started off in a position of possibly customer service, and now they're directors of the departments. And that's just an amazing thing, that they were able to put the hard work in, but the company actually acknowledged that.
I've always felt as though I have a voice within this company. I don't feel as though I'm just another employee. For that reason, you know, I plan on being here for as long as they'll have me.
And you are part of a team that is thoughtful. When you are part of Live, you definitely feel that you're part of a family.
This is a culture that empowers you to be better and do your best. It's very strong, and they always are fair.
If you want to feel valued and you want to love your job every day, apply. This place, there's nothing like it. You will feel like a valued member of a family.
Okay. The next section will be addressing minority businesses, and we have a tremendous track record in maximizing opportunities in our projects for local and small minority businesses. Again, this is one of the programs that we developed over 20 years ago, and what we'll be able to bring to Richmond is best practices. Having done this in so many different cities, multiple projects, we know that we can certainly press the benchmarks that have been established and achieve the highest goals in this area. In this project, we are committed to 50% minority and local ownership for the project. With respect to construction, we are prepared to commit to 40% in minority contracting. We've also will be working with a team of local minority contractors, including the Davis Brothers Construction, Canterbury Enterprises, and Mark Turner Construction. Also, we'll be purchasing tens of millions of dollars in goods and services from the local community. This simple graph just gives you a history, a brief snapshot in history of our performance in the area of minority participation. As I shared with you, we've been doing this for over 20 years. We think we've got it right, but we're always learning and we're always open to new approaches to this effort. I was personally involved with our casino in Philadelphia, where we achieved over 50% minority participation on a $700 million project. I can say that it wasn't easy. It took a lot of heartburn and heartache, but we really pushed ourselves because we really do value, our experience and our working with minority contractors across many sectors. So this is very, very important to us as a company. And along the way, we've run a number of awards for our efforts. We're very, very proud of our accomplishments throughout the country. This is just a brief snapshot of some of the awards that we've won. And I think it does come with the fact that we've tried to be creative in this endeavor. Every market that we enter into is different. It does require a different approach. My experience has been that it starts with having a good ground game, a good team, and I think we begin to put that in place in Richmond. This next video is just highlighting some of our efforts in the area of contracting and minority inclusion.
Small minority company like me up to another level. As a corporate citizen, I don't know if it can get any better. You have people here at the Cordish Companies and Maryland Live who are not just talking, they're actually doing it.
They give back to the community, and obviously they give back to businesses like mine, which supports the community in itself. And we've had a wonderful experience working with Cordish and Maryland Live.
They have present opportunities like no other company have. You don't see this often anymore. Given the economy and how it is now, it's a wonderful opportunity.
I've seen the outreach and the different things that Live is doing in the community and the neighborhoods, which is ginormous. They do an amazing job of putting opportunities in front of us.
As a result of Magazine Technology landing this Live Cordish account, there were other casinos on the plate to come up. Those other casinos being Westmoreland Live and Philadelphia Live. Well, lo and behold, because of the performance and because of the opportunities that Cordish Live gave Magazine Technology within Maryland Live, we were successful in winning those two contracts.
Cordish did what they said they were going to do. And in my book, that goes a long ways.
In my opinion, they're the best inclusive real estate development company in America.
Good evening, everybody. This is Joe Weinberg, and I'm a partner with the Cordish Companies. As Zed had mentioned earlier, we are long-term owner-operators, and we design our projects for the long term. And Live Casino and Hotel Richmond is going to be a world-class entertainment resort that includes, in addition to gaming, an upscale 4-diamond hotel and spa, destination restaurants, and a number of live entertainment venues and gathering spaces. We have a 17-acre parcel at the intersection of Arthur Ashe Boulevard and West Lee Street. And we specifically chose this location because it's in the heart of a defined growth node in the city's master plan. And as urbanists, we are believers that we should create critical mass of attractions and infrastructure in one place. And we really create a situation where 1 + 1 = 3. In addition, what we're going to build as part of the complex is 4,000 parking spaces. And one of the issues in the overall district has been parking. And we're going to be able to address the overall parking situation in the area by allowing all the businesses in the area to be able to utilize parking spaces in our project. The project will have tremendous economic impacts on the community overall in the city. And just in the first 15 years alone, the project will generate $7.5 billion in total economic stimulus for the city, $1.5 billion in gaming taxes, and over $450 million in gaming taxes to the city. Over and above the statutory gaming taxes that the city will receive, we have also proposed to give the city in upfront and ongoing payments what will equate to $200 million in additional community benefit funds over the first 15 years. And these funds are intended to not only to enhance the community, not to replace budgetary dollars in the city budget, but to be enhancements to the community. and go towards such needs as infrastructure, education, affordable housing, healthcare, parks and recreation. And these benefits don't end at the end of 15 years. They go on for the full life of the casino project. As one of the premier urban development companies in the country, we are very sensitive to making sure that the design of the project fits into the overall context of the Scotts Addition district. And so we've designed the project to make sure that we have very active streetscapes, hardscape, lighting, indoor-outdoor dining on all sides of the property.
What did I say?
The project provides very easy, convenient access from the major highways, from I-95, from I-64. And as I mentioned earlier, we're going to provide 4,000 parking spaces to help resolve some of the parking needs in the district. Track record matters, as Ed had mentioned earlier, and the project will have upscale interior finishes throughout the whole project, consistent with our brand. And we've delivered on this level of quality across the country. And anyone can walk into any of our facilities anywhere across the country and see this level of quality. And anyone, can put up pretty pictures of a project, but having delivered it time and time again over many decades is really important to understand. And this level of finishes will carry forward through the casino and through all aspects of the project. A key part of the project is our live hotel, which will have 4 diamond designation consistent with our live hotels across the country. The rooms in the hotel are beautifully appointed. There will be a upscale destination spa, fitness center, and also meeting and convention space that will help complement convention and tourism efforts across the city. And having a hotel, an upscale hotel in this location is so critical to be able to support those efforts of the city to drive both leisure and business tourism to the city. You can't ask visitors who are coming to the core of the city to drive 10 miles outside of the city to find a place to stay.
Excuse me, Joe, I'm just mindful of the time that we have, folks, for this evening, and we do want to allow as much time as possible for questions and answers. And so if you could please swiftly move through the remaining slides, I greatly appreciate it.
Okay, will do. Let's, Rob, let's take you through a fly-through of the project.
I'm not sure what happened, but somehow you stopped sharing.
Yeah.
Please feel free to get back control of the screen and replay that video.
Yeah. Like you're.
And excuse us, everyone, as we all know from time to time, we may have a glitch or so in terms of the technology that we're using.
And just to wrap up, we believe that our track record in gaming, entertainment, urban development is unparalleled in the country. We have developed the most successful casino gaming resorts in the country. We have a proven track record as a community partner and leading philanthropist. We're a recognized leader in maximizing opportunities for communities and minority and local owned businesses. And we're long-term investors. We build and hold our projects for the long term, and you'll be dealing with us as a company for the life of the project. And with that, we appreciate your time and look forward to answering any questions that you have.
Thank you very much, Joe. And thank you, Zed, and thank you, Rob. Before we turn it back over, excuse me, to Maritza to facilitate the Q&A, I just want to be mindful of everyone, again, of the civil discourse that we'll have for our Q&A period, and also the use of the chat. And with that, Maritza, you got it.
Hi, everyone. We invite you to write questions in the chat. Please keep it to questions so that it's much easier for us to filter through. If you put a lot of other stuff, I can't find the questions. So we're going to start with a question from the community, and I see Miss Moss. I am going to allow you to unmute. Just as a reminder, if anyone is inappropriate, you will be warned and then asked to be removed from the meeting. So Miss Moss, and you can go ahead and speak your question aloud.
Good evening. I just have two questions, and the first one being, will there be opportunities for local business to operate in the casino? And if so, how will you work with the existing businesses in Scott's Addition?
Thank you for the question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll take that. There'll be both opportunities for local businesses to participate as part of the dining and entertainment options within the casino. And we've been outreaching and will continue to outreach to the local business community to garner interest and to work that out. In addition, in terms of working with existing businesses in Scott's Addition, there are several things that we will be doing. One, we have a loyalty program called Live Rewards, in which our players earn points that they can then redeem for entertainment, for dining, for access to events, to cultural institutions. And we're going to extend our loyalty program for redemption at all area and city businesses that would like to participate in the program. In addition, we're going to be buying tens of millions of dollars a year in goods and services in the community. And we have a buy local first program where we outreach to the local community, the local business community, to identify all vendors, suppliers, companies that can provide goods and services that we need to run our operations. And we have a great track record of working with local small businesses and a lot of businesses, some you saw on the video, who are able to grow to scale and to expand their businesses even outside their initial immediate region. So in fact, we have a couple information sessions set up tomorrow and Thursday, both for people to learn about potential jobs at the Live Casino Hotel, and as well as for local businesses to look to learn about creating relationships for selling those goods and services to our company.
Thank you. Taking one from the chat, will Richmond Live Casino commit to using union labor during the construction and operation of the facility?
Well, the city has provided for a prevailing wage requirement under the RFP, and we will absolutely, be living up to the prevailing wage commitments that we have made, and we would anticipate there being both union and non-union companies that would have the ability to work on the project. But the important thing is that everybody will be paid the prevailing wage on the project.
Thank you. Arthur, who raised your hand, I'm going to allow you to unmute. You are now allowed to unmute. Please ask your question.
Hi, my name is Arthur Phillips. I'm with Unite Here, which is the largest casino workers union in the country. We represent over 100,000 casino workers in 19 states. And I just want to emphasize for Richmond residents and the evaluation panel that the most important economic benefit of a new resort casino is the creation of good family sustaining jobs. So a few questions I have.
Please try and only ask like one because we have a lot of people with questions.
Okay, I'll run through these very quickly. They're all closely related. Cordish has stated that the project will create 3,000 permanent jobs. Will these be full-time jobs or will they be fragmented part-time jobs? Will they be direct employees of Cordish or will they be subcontracted to other operators? And also, casino workers across the country enjoy free family health care and a pension. What kind of specific health and welfare benefits will this project offer workers? I just want to wrap up and just say Richmond has a critical choice to make about what type of project residents will vote on. And we urge the evaluation panel to look at each bidder's record on job creation and make that at the center of how the evaluation panel judges these proposals. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rob, would you like to?
Yeah, I think first, I agree that we should look at the job creation and the benefits of employment in the evaluation, and we look forward to that review as we have a great track record in that area. As it relates to employment, we're anticipating 3,000 permanent jobs, which is a combination of roughly 2,000 jobs at the facility and then direct jobs from vendors and other sources that have to interact with our facility. Those jobs all have benefits. And as an example, one of the things that we do that's very unique to the industry is we actually will be providing an on-site medical clinic that will be free to all of our employees, whether they're part-time or full-time, and to all of their dependents. That's a step that we do in other locations that takes us kind of above the norm in how we treat the benefit plans for our employees.
Okay, taking one from the chat. What impact will the project have on traffic?
We've conducted our preliminary traffic studies and have identified improvements that we've recommended that would be at our sole cost and expense. Important thing to understand about casinos is that our traffic is countercyclical to the normal morning and afternoon drive time peak traffic during the week. So we're not generating much traffic at morning rush hour time. As you can imagine, there's not a lot of people who are coming to a casino at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. And similarly, we're not driving traffic during afternoon peak periods. So if you compared the casino, for instance, to an alternate development, non-gaming development, commercial development, it would be generating much more peak traffic than a casino because of the reality of this. When a casino is busy, which is typically evenings and weekends. when the traffic is lower. In addition, the casino is open 24 hours a day, and there's a smoothing of traffic throughout the day. So unlike for instance, a movie theater or a sports event, which is driving traffic for arrival and departure within very concentrated time periods, the casino traffic is smoothed around across the course of a day. So it will not be increasing any of the major peak traffic in the area. In addition, the location, because it has good access off the major highways of 95, 195, 64, the majority of people who are arriving by car will access the site off of Arthur Ashe and will not be having to access the site through neighborhoods. So we think the VDOT has already made improvements and has improvements on the books on the ramps at 64 and 95. And we believe with the improvements we would make around the site that we would not be causing any additional traffic problems in the area.
If I may, Maritza, before you take on the next question, just a point I'd like to highlight for the citizens who may not have heard me or anyone else from the city say it before. The city of Richmond will in no way be paying for any infrastructure costs related to any of the project proposals. The city will not be providing any funding or financing, no abatements, no exemptions, no incentives, nothing. Whatever is required for these projects, it will be on the developer to do those things. And so thinking in terms of infrastructure improvements and things of that nature. Thank you.
Thank you. Another question from a live participant. I have SDC guest. Again, please keep your question to the point, and I will unmute you. Go ahead, SDC guest. You can unmute yourself on your end.
Okay. This is Sheila Doreen Chandler. That's the SDC. Mine's more a location problem. Just a question. To confirm that it's actually sitting where the Bowtie Cinema is sitting now. And will this affect in any way the Diamond or the VCU Sports Center that wants to come in that area, and is parking underground? Feels like we live in a neighborhood and this is, have you put one in right down in the middle of a neighborhood as opposed to a downtown area?
Thank you for the question.
So
I have a comment.
Nope, that's not how it works. I'm sorry, I don't know who spoke. Who was that? You can only speak if you have been called upon.
So the project has structured parking, of which a portion of it is underground and a portion is above ground. And as you'll recall from the renderings, we've designed the garage with green walls so that it fits in nicely with the context of the area. We've also provided as part of our design to be able to facilitate what was envisioned in the Richmond 300 master plan, which is provide connections from this site as well as the sites across Lee Street and the Science Center, and provide connections through to the Boulevard site as well as to the Diamond. So we're providing for both bike and pedestrian connections for a future bridge over the rail line to the future Boulevard site. So this site is actually very critical in being able to realize the vision for a walkable mixed-use development in this corridor.
Maritza, the other part of that question had to do with VCU and the 60-acre site where the Diamond is. This site is not in conflict with any of the proposed development. In other words, its development would not impact the development of the athletics village that's being proposed by VCU, nor would it impact the proposed development that's being planned, redevelopment of the 60 acres where the ball field is. And you all, if you take a look at the Greater Scotts Addition Small Area Plan, you'll see some of the development concepts there.
Thank you, Leonard. From the chat, $15 per hour equates to $28,800. So where does the $60,000 average salary come from?
So the vast majority of our employees actually will be earning well above that minimum. That is only for a handful of jobs that are actually at the minimum level. That calculation, I think, comes out to just over 30,000 for kind of an entry-level job. So when you average the overall wages, that's what comes out to be. And let me give you just cite one example. You have positions like dealers, which are a job that takes 8 weeks of training that we can take someone who's not a college graduate and have them ready to do a job that can earn them in excess of $60,000 a year. And that's just one of many examples that we have that provide those types of opportunities for the community.
Thank you. Sally J., you are now unmuted and you may ask your question aloud as long as you unmute yourself.
I just unmuted myself. Before I ask it, I wanted to ask you, I can't find the chat function on the screen, just FYI. I don't know how to access it.
Okay. It might be that you're doing it via a browser, but
okay. Okay, maybe that's why. Okay, my question, what is your commitment to VUU, and can you talk about that? Virginia Union University.
Yeah, sure. So we've identified the university as a recipient of a portion of the community benefits funds that would be generated by the project on an annual basis. It'll equate to many millions of dollars over the course of the project. In addition to funding, we're working closely with the university on scholarship, internship, workforce development programming as part of the Virginia Hispanic African American Alliance, which is an alliance between the Hispanic Chamber Foundation and Virginia Union. So we have a very close relationship with the university to provide both funding as well as to integrate with a number of their programming.
Maurice, I see one question from the chat that I'd like to ask, and it has to deal with gambling addiction in the community.
That's what I was going to put. Yep.
And would just like to have representatives from Cordish discuss how, internal to your operations, how do you all deal with gambling addiction, and what programs do you have to support those who are impacted by gambling addiction?
Yeah, happy to take that one. I'd start by saying the first thing we do, Leonard, is that we actually have a training program that engages all of the employees, all the team members on the facility. We train them through the best practices of the Alliance for Responsible Gaming on all aspects of how to identify, respond, react, and what to do in the situations when they deal with it. We also work closely with our state regulators on specific programs like self-exclusion efforts, efforts to protect those that are vulnerable to problem gaming that I've identified as problem gamers. We remove them from marketing programs, and we actually go as far as citing trespassing and holding them accountable for the for staying away once they've identified themselves, once we have identified them and worked with them to put them on an exclusion program. So this is a very, very large effort that we take very seriously, in how we train and how we educate our team on handling that problem. And one additional example, we actually go a step further than what's required in many of our jurisdictions. As an example, if you put yourself on the list in Maryland, we will actually restrict you from being able to visit any of our gaming properties, because once you've identified yourself with that disposition, we take the next step and make sure that we go above and beyond on that topic.
And I'd just like to add to that, because this is a really important subject to us. It's not only with problem gaming, but also with alcohol awareness. So every one of our employees are trained in safe serve best practices and being able to identify issues with alcohol as well. We have no interest in anyone with any addiction, playing in our facility. But our goal is to make sure that we can identify it and that we can get people help if they do have an issue. And I think it's important to understand that there's already gaming in the state, in the area. So this is not a site-specific problem that needs to be addressed. It's there's an analogy of just because a new restaurant or a new bar opens in an area, that doesn't mean that's going to create more alcoholics. But what you want are responsible operators in your community. And this is where experience, track record, training really matters. And this is an area that's very important to us that we excel at and we take very seriously. Thank you for the question.
Brady, I am unmuting you and you can ask your question aloud.
Yeah, have you met with any labor union groups or any building trades organizations in the metro area to discuss any aspects of the project?
Thank you, Brady.
We have our contractors on board, as Zed had mentioned earlier. We have Davis Brothers Construction, Canterbury Enterprises, Mark Turner Construction, as well as Gilbane. So clearly that would be our next step after the city makes its decision.
Thank you. A question from the chat. Can you share your community engagement efforts in Maryland with us?
Zed or Rob?
Sure. Sure. We've had a very extensive track record in Maryland. We've been at it for over 8 or 9 years now. And we a very similar structure where we contribute to a community-based fund. And those funds are allocated to community groups. And very simply, they write in, they make requests, a panel reviews those grants, and grants are awarded. And we think that's a very effective approach to the allocation of grant funds. It does allow for community involvement, which we think is very important. We propose something very similar in Richmond. It does allow those dollars to flow directly to projects that support the community endeavors.
And I'd like to just add to that just to give you a sense of the types of projects that we've been able to do at our Maryland facility. We've built new fire stations. We've bought new equipment for police and fire department. We've dealt with some infrastructure issues in terms of roads, sidewalks that the community could not get. That was a priority to the community, but wasn't on the work plan for the Department of Public Works. So we're able to accelerate that by having the funding available. We're able to work with elderly populations on providing elderly services and, very importantly, transportation to allow the elderly to be able to remain in their home. So they'd have transportation to doctor's appointments and to the food store. And one recent that was a result of COVID, which shows why it's nice to have kind of the availability and flexibility of these funds. When we went into COVID lockdowns in the spring of last year, people were out of work. People were struggling to be able to pay their rent and to buy food for their families. And we were able to come up with a rent relief program from employees and our families in our community to help them make it through the COVID shutdown. So, a lot of good uses for these funds that were generated, and these are incremental enhancements to the community that in every case turn out to be really essential needs.
Okay, thank you. A question from Alan Davis. I will unmute you and you can speak your question aloud. You just have to unmute on your end. Okay, I will come back to you if you decide you want to come back. Blair Just, I will unmute you and you can ask your question aloud. Blair? Okay.
As a matter of...
Oh. Sorry, go ahead, Blair. Unmute again. Blair? I'll give him 1 moment. Let's see. There you go. Now you're live.
Oh boy, I love
Sorry.
technology. So as a matter of public policy, legislators in a number of states that have gambling casino developments have enacted laws that prohibit contributions by legalized gambling interests to politicians and to political campaigns. Is that something that Cordish will commit to engaging to not doing? Very publicly not doing?
Well, we're certainly, we're certainly willing to commit to follow the law in the state.
All right. Let me go back to my chat. Let's see. Takes me a moment, everybody. Let's see. One question that's quick. Why do they keep saying pending approval by the city of Richmond? That is because the city of Richmond means every single voting citizen of the city of Richmond. If you can vote at the polls, if you're old enough and you are registered, you will be able to vote on November 2nd on whether or not you whether or not you believe a casino should be allowed in Richmond, and the question will make you answer one question about the site and the operator tied together. So it'll be you, the voters, who is the pending approval. Let's see. A question from someone who will speak is Sam Toby. Sam Toby?
Yeah, sorry. So also, as somebody who lives in this area, so my question is, so first of all, this is a neighborhood in this area. You have Scott's Addition and whatnot. Won't the addition of the course development lead to a higher crime rate in the neighborhood and also gentrification of people who already live here?
Thank you, Sam.
Bob, you want to?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that. So, there's There are wide reports of from different anti-gaming groups, particularly that speak to crime increasing as a result of casinos being introduced into a community, and they're factually misleading. In fact, in Maryland, when comparing periods prior to the casino opening to post-opening periods, we saw once the casino opened, there was an immediate reduction of crime. It was about 7% decrease, and that was in the very immediate years. And then as we continued to build our relationship with the police and refine our operations, we actually saw that reduction in crime in the area continue to decline, where we actually saw a decrease of over 30% of crime once the casino had opened prior. And when you think about it, it actually makes sense, because we are staffing one of the largest security forces in the area within the walls and in the outside area. We have thousands and thousands of cameras among many other technological advances that we use for security. And if you think about the psychology of those that have criminal intent, they're not going to locations where we are focusing the kind of efforts that we focus on as far as stopping those types of behaviors. So the overall facts around this are quite misleading, and I think that you will find, if we're lucky enough to be selected, that you'll see the same results in Richmond.
And we've got, just to add on to that, public safety is a priority for us. We would have a major investment, over $600 million in the community. So maintaining a safe environment is paramount. We also, we do, as we mentioned before, urban development all over the country, gaming and non-gaming. And so what we find in cities across the country, and Richmond is no exception, is that where you have activity, where you have people, where you have lighting, you have less crime and less issues. Crime tends to happen in areas where you don't have eyeballs on individuals and you don't have activity.
Maritza, if I may also, again, just scanning the chat, and this goes in line with the question on safety, problem gambling, gambling addiction. We absolutely recognize and do not sidestep in any shape, form, or fashion the fact that there are a lot of concerns and issues on the social and economic impacts of having a gaming facility anywhere in the city, in any locality, which is why through our community engagement processes and the work that we're doing with Convergence Strategy Group, we're working to better understand the thoughts and feelings of Richmonders around those, but also seeking input from Richmonders in terms of how we mitigate the impacts or potential impacts there. In the RFP document, we've asked for the proposers to respond to questions around public safety, gambling addiction, and a number of things. And so I don't want it to seem like we're only trying to paint a rosy picture. We appreciate the hard questions, and we are certainly taking all of that information into account. And also, again, just please be mindful the comments that you're writing in the chat, that they not be disparaging on anyone. Thank you.
Also, I've seen some questions related to how many people, where they would come from, projections on, like, are they Richmonders? Did you look at other casinos? And the consultant that the city hired, Convergence Strategies, before the city received any proposals, they conducted a market analysis of, like, gaming, of different scenarios of different locations for a potential resort casino. That document is available on the city's website, which I shared at the beginning of the meeting, which is RVA. If you just Google RVA Resort Casino, you should hopefully find it. It's hopefully how you got the link to the meeting today. It's down at the bottom, document archive. You can see that whole report there. A question, can you talk about, because I've seen it in a couple of different places from the chat, is about tearing down do you plan on tearing down the movie land structure?
Our project does contemplate the existing structure coming down. And also, just to be clear, when we acquired the property, it was already on the market. So it's the intention, of the owner that this is going to become there's a higher intensity development for the property. So, with or without our project, that's most likely the reality for the property.
Thank you. Jace, I will unmute you and you can ask your question aloud. Jace? Okay, he went away. So Danielle, I will unmute you and you can ask your question aloud.
Yes, actually, I'm Danielle's husband. I'm curious, is the city offering you tax incentives to do this?
Leonard?
No, the city is not offering any incentives, no tax incentives, no abatements, no exemptions, no financing, no infrastructure funding, no sales tax rebates. We are not offering any funding whatsoever to any developer for this project.
Okay, back to the chat. Leonard, if you see one right away, let me know. Someone had asked about how much it would cost for a hotel room night compared to other area hotels.
Yeah, we expect and intend this property to reach a 4-diamond level, and we would hope the rates to be competitive with other such properties within the market.
One of the other questions that was in the chat and that I'd like to just bring to the forefront, recognizing that some, we've talked in the city of Richmond about resort casinos, and understanding that everyone, they may not have an inclination for gaming. And so can you talk about some of the non-gaming amenities and features that are planned for the facility?
Sure. So we have the hotel, which is a 300-room 4-diamond hotel that has a large spa, fitness center, resort pool on a rooftop that the spa opens up to. We have a event center which can accommodate groups from up to 4,000 people, 2,500 on banquet rounds. So that'll be programmed with national touring acts, meetings and conventions, social events, weddings, nonprofit community events. The event center opens to the second level pool deck, so it's able to accommodate indoor-outdoor events during the nicer weather months of the year. We have a 5-acre festival lawn, which is, if you remember the renderings, is a open-air trellised structure that will be available for the community for community festivals, for ethnic festivals, for nonprofit events, and it will have a stage as well as lighting. So it'll be kind of plug and play for any community-oriented events. In addition, the facility has 18 bars and restaurants. So everything from a high-end steakhouse. We have the Prime Rib, which is the top Zagat-rated steakhouse in the Baltimore, Washington, and Philadelphia markets. They're Their owner actually happens to live in Virginia. Very nice upscale steakhouse. We have a lot of different restaurant concepts, and as we mentioned before, we'll be incorporating local operators into the dining entertainment options within the facility. We have a great sports bar concept called Sports and Social, which we have in projects in different cities around the country, which is the ultimate sports watching venue. It will also house the sports book, but that will have kind of stadium size LED, screen within the facility, and just a great experience. And we have a number of different lounges, from a cowboy bar that is an association that we have with the Pro Bull Riders Association called PBR, to high-end speakeasy lounges within the facility. So and each of our venues has opportunities for different live entertainment programming. So we'll be featuring 7 days a week local and regional artists, entertainers, as well as national touring acts in the larger venue. So a lot of excitement, a lot of opportunities for people who have no interest in gaming. And who we welcome with open arms to the facility.
Just the one thing that I think was left out there, Joe, was the spa. That would be part of the second the pool deck experience as well, and a wellness center there.
What's interesting is that in our facilities around the country, we get a tremendous amount of staycation business, where people who live in the local market are able to come to our facilities and get away for the weekend without really leaving home. So it's that kind of atmosphere where people in the community can come and feel like when they leave, feel like they've been on vacation.
Okay, thank you. Jace, I am going to unmute you again because last time we had a problem. So Jace, go ahead. Well, Jace, if you have access to the chat, you can write your question in there. Didn't work again. So we are going to go back up. Rebecca, I'm going to unmute you, and you can go ahead and speak your question aloud.
Hello.
There you go.
Yes.
Go ahead.
My question is also about traffic. I know this question was asked earlier, but the answer that was given was mostly pertaining to customers attending the casino and how that wouldn't impact, work time traffic. But we just recently heard about all the entertainment events that this venue plans on hosting. And my question is, has Live studied how those events, which will have large groups of people coming and then leaving at the same time, impact? Is Arthur Ashe going to be able to handle that? And have you also considered when those events are going to overlap and be at the same time as a squirrels game?
Yeah, no, very, very good question. And yes, we're very conscious of how and when we program events. For the most part, with the exception of the national touring acts, which will tend to be later in the evenings and on weekends, most of the entertainment is in the facility is ongoing. So again, it's not they're not ticketed events. They're available to anyone who comes into the facility when they come into the facility. So it's not creating that kind of rush, in terms of arrival or departure. And when we program our ticketed events, we do look at all the programming in the community. the schedules, and so we do work around those that scheduling to make sure we're not peaking peaks of traffic.
I've seen a few questions about this on the chat. Can you talk about whether or not you own the Movie Land site currently?
Again, we've provided the city with our documents and our legal disposition of the property is really not something that is for public discussion.
Thank you. Lisa Board, I am unmuting you and you can ask your question aloud.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to ask, one of the questions that I have is the Scotts Addition neighborhood is really an up and coming area for small businesses. And, it's just, to me, a casino is not in the business to encourage non-gaming businesses nearby. So I really, when you say that you're going to, and looking at trademarks, I mean, we have wonderful sports bars that are independently and locally owned in Scotts Addition. We have wonderful steakhouses. We have breweries. We have all of these things. A casino is kind of a one-stop shop, and the goal is to just keep people there and on the casino property. So sure, the businesses might be, your crime rate in the neighborhood immediately opening is going to be great, but you're not going to be providing security to businesses on the other side of Scotts Addition. And when they shutter and close with this big commercial thing that's going to be going up on Arthur Ashe, hopefully not, then what happens to the small business owner across the street that has to shutter? Because that's when your crime comes in. And there are several law enforcement agents or police officers that I recognize in the chat, and they would be better equipped to speak to that than I would. But, I think that it's great. Some of the things, of course, you're going to put on a good presentation, but the vast majority of us here, especially that own property, either businesses or homes in this immediate area, are very opposed to this. And what can you tell us to get us on board?
Joe, I'm happy to lead off on that response. And, this is, again, a conversation that often comes up when we talk about projects like this. And again, our experience is actually doesn't align with this belief. As an example, in Maryland, in our live facility, once we built and developed the live casino, there was actually an influx of both residential homes to the area and many businesses, and they keep coming in. We're still growing in this area at a much faster clip than the rest of the county. And quite candidly, we believe that is from the overall energy, traffic, and focus that's creating kind of this opportunity. So I think the businesses, we will continue to outreach to the local businesses. We will continue to engage them in ways that we can work and partner with them to help their businesses. We've done that in every location we've gone into, and it's part of our goal to be accretive to the entire community. We want to be there for the long run, and that means we have to be partners.
And let me just add to that. We think this location and the businesses in the Scotts Addition, the greater Scotts Addition area, that we will each help each other. We will drive a lot of new traffic to the area, people who haven't experienced the area before, and there are terrific. I absolutely agree with you. There are terrific businesses in Scotts Addition that more people need to experience, and we are committed to using our marketing budget and program, and we're going to be spending somewhere near $70 million in marketing for this project. And we think we can drive more people to the area and get them to spend more time. And I think, as we all know in business, if we can get people to extend their stay in an area, then their spend will exponentially increase. And we think to do that, there needs the casino can't be an island, in and of itself. We use the term 1 + 1 = 3. Not the greatest arithmetic in teaching in elementary school, but it is in business, that you can lift when you have a critical mass of attractions. All the attractions lift each other. So we're already working on outreaching to businesses where we can do cross marketing and help drive traffic to area businesses. As we mentioned before, we want to extend our loyalty program for redemptions in local restaurants and cultural attractions, and that in and of itself is tens of millions of dollars in additional funds going into the local community. And then, of course, with thousands of new jobs, including the indirect jobs and the spinoff of jobs created from the money we'll be spending in the community. That's new money in the community that can be spent on goods and services in the community. And I'd like to extend to you or whoever would be interested, anyone who would like to come to one of our facilities and meet with us, meet with area businesses, meet with community leaders, and hear it firsthand from them, we're happy to host you.
Thank you. One question from the chat was, can someone detail exactly what and how much money is going to the city from the casino? So I mentioned earlier that we had Convergent Strategies do a market analysis, and this was before we received proposals, before the city received any proposals. And in their independent analysis as experts in casino development, they said the city could expect about $29 million to $31 million annually in tax revenue, and that comes from the gaming tax, hotel tax, food and beverage tax, city sales tax, property taxes, business licenses, and personal property taxes. So that's the range that they had. Again, this is available on our website. That's page 7 of that report.
And Maritza,
go ahead, Leonard.
I'd also add that prior to passing the Virginia Casino Act, the Joint Legislative Audit Review Commission, JLARC, they commissioned a study as well, and the analysis that was done by the Convergent Strategy Group is not far off from what was the study that was done by JLARC, and so we are optimistic that a project of this nature, will generate substantial new general fund revenue to the city of Richmond.
And those are just the taxes that are, would come with any casino project. Then there's, as you probably have seen in various videos, different folks have offered other things in addition. I won't go into detail on those because you can see them on the one-pagers and such. So Andrew Bunn, I am going to unmute you and you can ask your question aloud.
Hello, my question is related to transportation as well. I know that the area is zoned for transit-oriented development, and I'm sure you'll be getting some sort of special use permit or community unit plan for other modifications, but I'm curious what, if you plan on still making transit-oriented improvements, and if you've communicated with the Greater Richmond Transit Company or talked about transit connections that you could foster like immediately and into the future as GRTC expands its transit connections in the area.
Yeah, great question, and that is something that we do plan to incorporate into the project. We are in the process of reaching out to the transit department, and looking at all the opportunities to help enhance the connections within the area, which could include bus, bike trail connections, ride share, central ride share opportunities, utilization of the parking that we're adding into the facility to be able to to handle some central requirements. So we haven't worked out every detail, but that is high on our list to look at how we can maximize those opportunities in this project.
Thank you. A question from the chat is about how many people from the city of Richmond will be hired in management and supervisory positions, and how many of those positions even exist within the number of jobs.
And we would anticipate that we would have a very, very high percentage of jobs to be placed from Richmond and Richmond area residents. If you look at our other facilities, that number closes in on 70, 80% coming from the host communities. Many of the supervisor and manager jobs will also be selected from the area as well. And one thing, people can be skeptical about that, but Joe mentioned earlier that we have to remember in a casino, we have hotels, you have hotels, we have restaurants, and when you look at all the different functions we have, we are able to go out and hire, train, and bring on board folks from within the local community all throughout the level of the organization.
Thank you. Let's see. John, I will unmute you and allow you to ask a question aloud. Go ahead. John? Okay. Marie Benavides. You can unmute.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So I have another follow-up question about how small businesses will be involved or impacted or excluded from this casino development. So earlier you were asked a question about whether or not you would allow small businesses like restaurants to have a presence within the live development. And the answer was kind of clearly no. However, you mentioned there being potential for businesses to be involved in a loyalty program that you have on site. And so my question is about that loyalty program and whether the local businesses are going to have to opt in and pay a fee to be included in this, or whether it's going to be something that's just granted to the local businesses, and whether they can, I'm not sure if it's like a card system where loyal members receive points on a card and then they can redeem them at the live businesses. So are local businesses and businesses around Richmond going to be able to be involved in that loyalty program without paying the fee so they can reap those benefits, or are they going to have to pay a fee, and whether they're going to receive every dollar for dollar, or how? I just really want more information about that program and how it's going to benefit the businesses.
Sure. No, I'm glad you asked the question because we do plan to incorporate local businesses into the casino. So just to be clear, there will be opportunities within the casino for local businesses. And vis-a-vis the loyalty program, there's no fees. And anyone who wants to participate, will have the program available to them. It'll just require, agreeing to tie in technologically so we can manage the manage the logistics of the program, but there are no fees involved.
And Joe, I would continue to add just a couple comments as it relates to local businesses. The majority of the focus in the dialogue at this point has been to restaurants or food and beverage operations, but we have seen and expect to see similar results. The hotels in the area, where they normally have weekday business volumes through meetings and conventions. They'll see an assist in their occupancy over weekends. Local marketing firms, local goods and services. We spend and will be spending tens of millions of dollars in the local community on an ongoing and annual basis for all of the different types of services, from landscaping to marketing materials. It's a massive influx of cash to all kinds of businesses, not just restaurants.
Thank you. From the chat, what are your projected daily visitors on weekdays and weekends? Will 4,000 parking spaces be sufficient that it does not impact the adjacent residential areas?
Yeah, I mean, the parking counts were done based on accommodating both our customer count as well as being able to accommodate additional capacity for surrounding visitors. And Rob, do you have the daily visitation? And again, our visitation is over a 24-hour period, so there are multiple turns throughout the day.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I'll add to that too, Joe, is what we're proposing here in Richmond, from a size and a scale standpoint of the casino size, visitation, everything is very comparable to the facility that we've opened in Philadelphia. They both have about 2,000 slot machines. They both have roughly the same number of table games, and we're actually proposing more parking spaces in this plan. And we've had no issues in Philadelphia as it relates to parking. So I feel very comfortable that our proposed parking structure has the excess capacity we discussed to be able to facilitate parking needs for the local area as well.
Will you clarify as to whether or not that is paid parking or free parking?
It's free parking
Thomas, I am allowing you to unmute. Please ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, I kind of have a three-part question. First one is regarding the Bowtie movie theater. If the casino is built over it, will they relocate elsewhere in the city? Second is, what sort of effect will this casino have on the pricing for the area in terms of rent? And the third is hang on. What sort of crowd can we expect to be attracted to Richmond?
Thank you, Thomas. So, future of the bow tie.
So the theater group does have another theater in the market. I don't know whether they intend to consolidate at that site or to add another theater at this point. See what the other questions were.
On impact on rent in the area, and then the crowd
and visitation. Yeah. So on impact on rents, I don't know that there will be any impact on rents in the market. That's a supply and demand based generator. Obviously, we will be hiring several thousand people. Now, most of that of our employees will be coming from the Richmond area and be living in the region already. So that'll really be based on supply and demand metrics in the area. And then in terms of who will draw to the market, the typical customer for a casino is a upper middle class, 35 plus. The medium age is 55 customer. We would expect to draw from outside the market, a significant business and leisure travel audience. We would be looking to, as we mentioned in a prior question, to be able to market to a broader area, not only the casino but the cultural attractions, the brewery trail, as well as other attractions in the area. So we think there's a big opportunity to drive new people to Richmond who haven't experienced the market or at least haven't been in the market in a long period of time.
Maritza, before you go on to the next question, just a time check and a process check for everyone. One, we are really thankful for everyone still being plugged in and engaged in the conversation. There are over 200 people who are still participating in this virtual meeting. And so first and foremost, thank you, thank you, thank you. Your questions are important. And to the extent that, we have gas in the tank, and the folks from Cordish are willing to continue answering the questions, we will continue until the last question is answered, and we will afford the same opportunity to the other presenters on tomorrow and on Thursday night. Tomorrow being One Casino and Resort, and on Thursday, Bally's Casino. All right. So with that, let's continue on.
I see solar panels on the images. Is the facility fully green?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last part of the question.
I see solar panels on the images. Is the facility fully green?
It's not 100% green energy, but we are going to, accommodate with solar panels as much, green source energy as possible.
Will it be designed and constructed to any LEED certification standards?
We haven't determined that yet. We will have a checklist that we will go through in final design to try to accommodate as much as the LEED criteria as possible. But we haven't established to what level the final project will meet yet.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kimberly, please ask your question. You are unmuted.
Yes, good evening. Very quickly, two-part question. I can make it brief. The first question is to the Cordish executive team. Prior to this casino endeavor for the city of Richmond, what influence or impact did you have, or even businesses did you have with the city of Richmond prior to this opportunity?
Ask your second question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yes. My second question is related to affordable housing. I've seen in past cities that you've developed in, there was an affordable housing component. What is your definition of affordable housing? And is there a component to affordable housing in this RFP?
Thank you. So first,
let me tackle the last part of that. Kimberly, with this particular RFP project, we did not ask for any housing components or any housing related to it. The focus was on a resort casino project. I just wanted to just go ahead and publicly state that on behalf of the city. But go ahead, Joe.
you turn off your camera, please. Thank you.
And we have provided as part of our community benefits proposal that the use of those funds could potentially go towards supplementing affordable housing efforts in the city. So we recognize that as an important and critical area, and it is a potential area of funding from the community benefits fund that we've identified. And in the city of Richmond, we developed the Troutman Sanders headquarters on the James and the adjacent residential tower. That goes back to what year?
Yeah, gosh, it's probably been 15 years or so ago. But I've been very much involved with that project over the many years. We've also developed, as you know, in the Hampton Roads area with the waterside development, also the power plant in Hampton as well, the waterside in Norfolk. So we've had extensive experience in the area, but that is the correct project, Joe, for Richmond.
I am scrolling back in my chat. I'm trying to go through the chat. If I didn't pick someone's question, it's because it was kind of already answered before. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Someone asked if you get to vote on it if you get to vote on the ballot if you own a property. No, it's only if you are a voting resident of the city of Richmond do you get to vote. That means that LeVar Stoney is your mayor. If you got to vote for the mayor of Richmond last election, then that means you live in the city of Richmond. Traffic, phone copy. Leonard, if you see someone that you want to ask a question from the chat, I might just go ahead and ask another. I'll get someone else to ask a question aloud. David. Oh, Leonard, I can't hear you. You're muted.
Oh, I was just saying, let's keep with those who have their hands raised.
Okay, David, I am unmuting you. David R. Go ahead. All right, Stephanie, you are on deck. If David does not speak, it'll go to you. Stephanie, go ahead and unmute.
Okay, I think I'm unmuted. Good evening. I would like to know how open is your group to using the Coliseum location instead? As I've been listening to this town hall, it's been stated by previous residents that there's already lots of business activity in this location, small businesses and a baseball entertainment venue. And like in other areas of the city, such as the near the locations that Bally's and One Casino are proposing, residents by and large don't seem to want to live next to the casino. And given that we already have a severely underutilized convention center of our own, doesn't seem strategically advantageous for us to have a casino build another one right down the road to compete with business, especially since it's next to a large abandoned entertainment venue, which is surrounded by parking decks that are already going to be empty on evenings and weekends. So while downtown might not be your first choice of location, I think being open to an alternative location, especially since we're so early in this process, I mean, this is all just on paper, would show that both your organization is truly listening to the concerns expressed by residents, and that when it comes to large economic development initiatives, that the city is actually following through on the Richmond 300 top visions that we all endorsed. So again, how much consideration is there, at least for any of the casino operators and yours in particular, since that's the subject of this meeting, to consider the Coliseum?
Thank you.
Leonard, would you like to tackle that one?
Sure. Thank you for the question. When the city issued its RFP, we asked specifically for the proposers or anyone who was going to be submitting a proposal to submit their site. And we did not specify any preferred sites. We did not suggest any sites. Any of the proposers or any other group certainly could have proposed on the Coliseum site, but no one did. And so what we are evaluating are the proposals, that we've received and the sites that the respective organizations have submitted. So thank you for the question.
Okay, I'm going to unmute another speaker, and that will be Jenny Johnson. Jenny, go ahead. Nicoleas Lucino, you are next if she does not unmute. Nicoleas, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So my concern is about some of the issues that were mentioned briefly at the beginning of this. You talk, in my opinion, labor unions work to ensure quality jobs and fairness, especially for minority employees. Cordish, in its presentation, made it sound like it believes it should be offering living wages, and I'm glad to hear that. I'm wondering if Cordish employees are represented by unions at existing facilities, and if so, where?
Joe, you want me to handle that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we actually have a mixture. We have certain locations that don't have a representation, and we have other sites that have significant representation. So if you are familiar with kind of the laws around this, we are not in a position to make those decisions. Those are decisions made by our employees, and we honor those decisions when they're made. So our Maryland facility the majority of our workforce is represented. Philadelphia is a mixture, and others have less representation.
Jenny Johnson, it seemed like you were about to unmute, and then go ahead and unmute if you'd like to ask a question aloud. Go ahead. You are now unmuted on both ends.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. I have a very traffic specific question. For those of us who use Hermitage Road between Brooklyn Parkway and Lee, over to Broad Street and back every day as a route of commute to and from work, what is the consideration for the unsafe exit ramp, the northbound exit ramp onto Hermitage off of 95? Because of all the event signs that are right there at that exit, a lot of people come roaring off off I-95. They don't even look left for oncoming traffic. So have you guys, your traffic study, your traffic analysis, have you analyzed that intersection and the safety of it, considering you're going to be bringing a lot more traffic in?
You're talking about the off-bound ramp?
Correct. The northbound I-95. Correct.
So VDOT has been working on improvements at that, adding increased capacity on that deceleration lane. So that's work that they've recently done. So we will, of course, look at the effectiveness of that with the city and VDOT as part of our further studies. But we recognize your point, and VDOT has well, because they've already been working on that location.
Bob Stidell, if you're still on, will you please chime in and share any information that you know and that you're able to in terms of the plan VDOT improvements related to I-95 in this corridor, please?
Sure, Leonard. Again, there is a public process going on now for how we can better consider this intersection, several intersections in the Richmond district, and the speaker got it right. We're all going to be working together to make sure we get that on off in that area to the best possible way we can do it.
And I might add that the redevelopment of the 60 acres into something else kind of also, takes into consideration improvements to I-95 and 64 to allow multimodal access to those 60 acres. I'm talking about the land that the city owns, specifically where the ballpark is, not this site. I'm going to allow another person to unmute because you guys have been waiting so patiently with your hands raised. This one, no casino at the movie land. You can unmute. There you go. Go ahead and unmute. Okay, Scott RVA, you are up next. If the other person unmutes, I'll come back later.
Hello?
Go ahead, Scott RVA.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So looking at all of the proposals, there is only one proposal in the majority white area, which is the Forest Hill proposal. Isn't it just more environmental racism putting this right on top of mostly non-white communities?
Thank you for your question. Leonard?
Scott, thank you for the question. Again, I go back to the RFQ, RFP process, the document that we put out. The city did not suggest locations. We left it to each proposer to identify a piece of property, have some semblance of control of that property, and propose a project. And so each of them, in their own ability, they secured properties or control of properties to be able to put forward a proposal. And that's what we're reviewing right now. I would be remiss if I didn't also add from an economic justice standpoint, every opportunity that we have, typically, well, what we've been sharing in terms of the presentations is we're not approaching this project just for the sake of, hey, we have the opportunity to have a resort casino. But with our economic development projects, it's to figure out how we address our priorities as a city. Priorities such as equitable economic development, priorities such as economic mobility, priorities such as affordable housing, priorities such as more funding for Richmond Public Schools, and a number of other things. And the beautiful thing about that is with enhancements of revenue to the city, understanding that there will be some things that we have to mitigate, figure out how to mitigate, but we will have an upside from a revenue standpoint to address those factors that we need to mitigate, but also to be able to significantly move the needle in terms of addressing those other priorities as well. And so regardless of regardless of which project in the city or location in the city, or the combination of project and location in the city, we are looking to move forward with addressing our priorities as a city. So again, I appreciate the question, Scott.
Leonard,
And
I'd
just like to add that for us as a company, this has been a very important area for us in terms of social justice. In how do we lift communities in the cities in which we do business? It's why we feel this location, which is closest to the areas that have the highest unemployment, where we feel by being able to provide jobs, which is one of the greatest social justice initiatives that a company can provide, being close to where people live, so they have access to good, high-paying jobs. It was a really important consideration for us as we looked at where to site this facility, where it could not only maximize revenues and benefits, attract the most people, but also do the most for enhancing communities and lifting communities in the city.
Thank you. Going back to the person to speak aloud a question, the no casino at Movie Land participant, you are unmuted. You can ask your question aloud. Okay. Brooke Betts, you are up next. You can ask your question aloud.
Hi, thank you. I believe the gentleman from the casinos mentioned that their commitments to the city went on essentially in perpetuity and they mentioned a 15-year cap. And I'm curious if this is not something I know, this is just a question. Are the other proposals also into perpetuity, or is there some sort of cap on when those proposals stop giving as much money to the city and as much support to some of the community investments that have been talked about tonight?
I just want to clarify what our proposal is. There is no cap. It goes on for the life of as long as the casino is there, licensed in the city. So it goes on for the life of the project. The 15 years was only to provide a snapshot of what the benefits were over that period of time. And I obviously can't answer to the other proposals, but just wanted to clarify that point.
And in terms of the city, there are, in each of the proposers, the proposers are suggesting to do things with organizations that are not the city of Richmond. The city certainly doesn't have any purview over what they do or donations or funds that they spend with outside organizations. But for those agreements specifically with the city of Richmond, we will have a host community agreement, which spells out any and all funding above and beyond the statutory requirements. And by the statutory requirements, the 6%, 7%, and 8% in terms of the local tax that's spelled out in the Virginia Casino Act. That state code, that state statute, the only way that changes is if the Virginia General Assembly changes it. And in addition to that, any revenue that we negotiate or any programs that we negotiate above and beyond that with any of the offerers will also be in the host community agreement.
Okay. Oludare, I will unmute you and you can ask your question.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much. My question is twofold. I noticed that in the proposal, I didn't really see anything in there that ensures that some of the jobs for the little guys during the construction, like the construction stage, like the labor positions, that you're gonna focus on hiring people locally, people in the Richmond area. So I didn't see anything about that. Then the second thing is that the living wage calculation for the city of Richmond is about, I think it's about $15.95. And I know you mentioned something about prevailing wages, and which is probably going to be around maybe 11 something, 11.50. Is there anything that you have in your proposal that focuses on, creating jobs? I'm not talking about after the casino is built. I'm talking about for the construction workers, the little guys in Richmond, where they can make money in the living wage category. Thank you.
Yeah, the best place to go to both introduce yourself and look at what the opportunities are is we're holding both tomorrow and Thursday information sessions for both for local businesses, for people interested in job opportunities and learning about job opportunities, and also about construction opportunities on the project. So Rob or Zed, if you could give the hours for tomorrow, and if you go to the information session at the Movie Land site, our contractors will be there, and you can really explore the areas you're interested in and specific opportunities that are available.
Before we give the hours, I will say that this is a category that we really focused on in all of our development, how to create opportunities for smaller contractors. So, for example, in Philadelphia, we worked very hard to create bid packages for smaller contractors. So it's an evolving process for us. I would do exactly as Joe has suggested. if we can get your contact information, get an understanding of the size of your business, the scope of work that you're capable of providing, we could work with you on creating bid packages that fit exactly where you are from a business standpoint.
Yeah, I'll add one other thing for those interested. If you visit our website, richmondlive.com, there are opportunities there to sign up for communication for any number of categories, including construction or ongoing vendor opportunities. We'll be communicating with those that sign up so that we can continue that dialogue and make sure that we are providing easy outreach. If you are interested in coming to the information fair, it's running on Wednesday, March 31st from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. and then Thursday, April 1st at 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we'll be at the Criterion building at Movieland.
So folks, it looks like we've gotten through all of the hands that were raised, and what we'll do is in quick fashion up until about 8:30, as there's still 160 people online, we'll just go through the chat and pull as many questions as we can. One of the questions in the chat is asking about, excuse me, or was a comment about out-of-town people and folks coming in. A part of the study that was done by Convergent Strategy Group, we specifically asked them of the $300+ million of gaming receipts, gross gaming receipts that are projected to come through a facility in the city of Richmond, what percentage do they estimate or project from their model will be from city of Richmond residents? And their model shows that about 22% of the gross gaming receipts. And so what that means is 68% of the gross gaming revenue receipts will be coming from out of the city of Richmond, at least in the majority of that within a 2.5-hour drive time. So it is a regional draw as far south as North Carolina, as far north as Maryland, and then other types of tourism coming to the city as well. A few other questions. Maritza, do you see any that are there?
So it was 78 would be coming from out.
I'm sorry, I miscalculated. My apologies.
It's 8:15, man.
Yeah,
long day.
For the tech education.
So, and if you look at the Convergent Strategies present report, which is on our website, I think someone linked to it in the chat. Just so you know, we city employees are not able to comment in the chat. That's why we're not responding or posting links in there. That also shows like what they consider the market, like how far away that is. Go ahead, Leonard.
And while you're looking, Maritza, again, just to recap process again, the evaluation panel is reviewing their proposals. We'll make a recommendation to the mayor. There'll be papers and ordinances introduced for city council to weigh in on, and ultimately with the vote from city council, the preferred operator in site there'll be a petition of the court so that it can be a voter referendum on November the 2nd. And then on November the 2nd, if you are a citizen in the city of Richmond and you are at a city of Richmond polling station or you have a city of Richmond ballot, the question, the language from the Virginia Casino Act will be on your ballot. And at that time, every voting Richmonder will be able to vote yes or no as to whether or not they'd like to have a resort casino in the city of Richmond. In our RFP process right now, the Cordish companies and their live casino and hotel project that's being proposed on Arthur Ashe Boulevard at the Bowtie Cinemas Moving Land site. That's one of the projects still in contention, which is why we're having the conversation tonight.
So related to that, one of the questions was why that someone put in the chat is why should we pick your project over the others, specifically Bally's? I don't know. I can't decide if that's an appropriate question or not to ask. But,
there's so many reasons. So the fact is that we have developed 3 of the most successful casino resorts in the country. Track record matters. Having done it time and time again is really important. And we, unique of the three proposers, have actually built ground up casinos. One of the proposers has built none, and the other has acquired facilities but has never built a quality ground up casino, which is what the proposal is for Richmond. We also have decades of proven experience in working with communities, in being a great community partner. You saw in the video community members, nonprofit organizations, political representatives, talking about how we do what we say and we say what we do. We're a proven leader in philanthropic giving in the communities that we're in, and we're a private company. We're owner operators. We hold our facilities for the long term. So the people you see on this call are going to be the ones who are going to be working with the community, in the not only in the near future but in the long term. And when we take that long-term perspective of holding our properties for forever, it means we build them at the highest quality, we operate them at the highest quality. We're serious about being integrated and immersed in the community, and we're a proven leader in making sure that we're providing opportunities for everyone. We have a very diverse workforce. We have a proven track record of providing opportunities for local and small and minority owned companies, women business enterprises. We have a long track history of helping small companies grow to large companies, of giving them opportunities that they haven't gotten because they couldn't break through the old boys network in their respective markets. But we provide, broad opportunities. We try to maximize the small businesses in the community that can benefit from the investment we're making in the community, and we create relationships. These aren't transactions for us. These are relationships, and the companies that we work with and we grow, we take to other markets with us. We work with people in the long term. So we're not looking for, one-shot relationships. We're looking for long-term relationships where, businesses in the community can grow along with us.
Joe, just if I could add 2 seconds on the end of that. I mean, Richmond is making a decision, and everybody involved here will be making a decision, which is an investment in your community. And you want to pick the operator that has that proven track record of doing things the right way for the right reasons. When you look at the most recent projects that we have completed, we started construction prior to the COVID pandemic happening, along with a number of other projects in the Commonwealth during that window of time. We're the only operator that actually continued construction and completed the construction and opened the facilities, even with that difficulty surrounding us. And Joe, I think leave it to you to explain too, but I believe there's also a local and minority ownership piece that's probably worth highlighting.
Sure. I mean, we're going to have 50%. Most is committed already, but 50% local minority ownership in the project. Individuals who also are philanthropic, share our commitment to improving the communities around us. And then also, let me, in addition to that, from a financial standpoint, we don't over leverage our properties. So unlike most other development companies, we put equity into the projects so that there's a very modest amount of debt on the properties. So there's a guarantee that they're going to get built. They're going to get built properly, and they're not going to be over leveraged. And so we're very proud of that track record, that commitment, and we think when you look at the merits of comparing us with any other developer or proposer, you'll see that there's no comparison.
Thank you, Joe. There's a question from the chat I'd like to ask you all. Do you have any hard data or data-informed hypotheses on the number, proportion of your casino's guests that experience financial distress as a result of the games they play? Do you allow or encourage guests to play games on credit? Do you take indebted guests to collections or support services for gambling addiction, given any share of your profits to help curb these negative behaviors?
Yeah, the best source for
Before you answer, if you're on the meeting and you're as a participant, please turn off your video. Keep your video turned off the whole time. Go ahead.
Yeah, the best source for getting answers to the nature of kind of responsible gaming and gaming addiction problems are the National Centers for Responsible Gaming or the American Gaming Association. And when you look at the studies pretty consistently across all studies, they represent about just less than 1% of the population in the United States is identified with some sort of problem gaming. It's a difficult question to answer specifically relating to our facilities because once we identify someone as having an issue with responsible gaming, we move quickly to remove them from our facilities so that they can't continue to come. So I would hope that we have a very low percentage of problem or addicted gamers in the facility because we have very strict procedures to ensure that we are not advertising, marketing, or taking advantage of a group that has an addiction problem. The question about whether we take credit or not, that will be dependent upon the rules of the state. So we'll follow whatever the guidelines are for Richmond and the Richmond Lottery provides for.
Okay.
Okay, we have two hands raised. Leonard said we would go till 8:30, so that's in 4 minutes.
So keep them quick.
Keep them quick. Go ahead, Dane. You are unmuted.
Hi, I was wondering if anyone had reached out to the estate of Arthur Ashe and solicited their opinion.
We have made efforts to reach out to them unsuccessfully at this point, but that is on our list. Selfishly, I will say that at Cordish, we're all tennis players. So when we saw the opportunity to possibly partner with the family, we just made that a mission for us selfishly. So it is something that we really are thrilled about, that the possibility of doing something with the family there.
And just to expand on what Zed was mentioning, we've looked at the Arthur Ashe Center as a potential area that we might be able to help in terms of renovations.
Okay, Rob, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, I was just looking at the three final casinos, and they're all very large, approximately the same size. But the Bally's is on 61 acres. The Urban one is on 100 acres, and yours is only on 17 acres. I don't know. I don't know if it adds up. Can you let me know?
Well, sure. Numbers can tell the story, but you got to compare apples to apples. So if you look at the actual development areas of each of the facilities, they're very similar. For instance, we just opened our live casino hotel Philadelphia on a 10-acre parcel. So if you look at the Bally's and the Urban One proposals, the bulk of the lands are not being used, and the actual development areas aren't substantially different.
And Joe, to highlight that point, the Maryland facility, which is in scale, larger, is actually on less land than what we're proposing the movie land site to be.
We're on 12 acres in Maryland.
Yeah. I'd like to offer a caveat. I would say that the way that the proposers are proposing to use the acreage, whether it be the 17 acres, the 61 acres in the instance of Bally's, or the 100 plus acres in terms of one, it's all vastly different types of uses in each of the proposals. They're all very different. They're all very distinct. And so with that, we are at 8:29 with 140 plus people still on the line. Again, thank you all so very much for coming out this evening. We strongly encourage you. We understand it was a 2.5 hour marathon session tonight, but we do strongly encourage you to participate throughout this week as we have meetings tomorrow or presentations tomorrow. Again, with one casino and resort, and on Thursday with the proposed Bally Casino Resort in the city of Richmond. We want you to bring the same intensity of the questions as you're listening, and you deserve to have your questions heard and answered. Again, Joe, Rob, and Zed, we're really appreciative of your time this evening. We're appreciative of what Cordish has done in terms of its interest in the city of Richmond and the thoughtful proposal that you all have submitted. Maritza, you have done a phenomenal job. Thank you so much. And one of the other things that I did not mention for the benefit of all who are on, the 9-member evaluation panel has been publicly named several weeks ago. The 9-member evaluation panel consists of 2 city council members. Those persons would be Vice President Ellen Robertson, who represents the 6th District, Councilmember Andreas Addison, who represents the 1st District. Also on the evaluation panel are Acting Chief Administrative Officer Lincoln Saunders, Deputy Chief Administrative Officer Sharon Ebert, Deputy Chief Administrative Officer Bob Steidel, Fire Chief Melvin Carter, Director of the Office of Community Wealth Building Valerie Mitchell, Maritza Peachin as the Deputy Director in Planning and Development Review and Director of the Office of Equitable Development, and myself, Leonard Sledge, as the Director of the Office of Economic Development. Thank you all so very much again for the engaging time tonight. Don't forget to go online to the city's economic development website, post your thoughts and your comments on Conveyo, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you,
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.